In order to get the bearings out, the easiest way I found, if they're stuck in the case, is to use a socket that will fit in here, and it'll pop it right down. I've already hit it a couple times, so I'll show you. But that bearing is supposed to be flush in there, and you can see it's halfway out. But you want to use a piece of wood underneath it when you go to hit it, and you want to hit it right here. Now on the other side, the hole is bigger here, so I used about a 21, but probably a 23 would work better. And you just tap it down in there on the ground and until they both come out. I'm going to do that. Now pop both bearings out, and we need to kind of take a look at the bearings. I don't ever use old bearings again. The reason is I don't know if they're spun or not spun, but they have crap on them, and if you're going to rebuild the motor and get right down to the heart of the matter, it's better to get new bearings. Now looking at these races, and the races are right here, you can see that there are some grooves in the aluminum, and that might be where the outer race of the bearing right here, this is supposed to be very tight in the aluminum, where it is spun, and the middle is only supposed to spin. Yeah, that's moving really rough. This bearing is shot. But if the outer race starts to spin while the bike is moving, it gets really hot really quickly, and then your motor seizes, because it's only supposed to run, the crank is supposed to run on this inside race, and this outside is supposed to be stationary. But if the outside runs in this fitted aluminum case here or here, then that's what it's called a spun bearing, because it spun in the case where it's not supposed to spin, where it's supposed to be pressed in there and solid like concrete. The next step will be to take these two seals. These are the same with the bearings. But to take the seals, walk over to the garbage can and say sayonara. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. You always want to replace your bearings. You want to replace your seals. That way, if something does happen down the line, that you won't have to think, well, maybe it's because it was the weak link right here that I wasn't looking at. Now these can be saved for guide bearings, and what I mean is, I take and I sand. I already have some, but I sand down the outer edge here about I don't know, 1/10 of a millimeter. And then what I'm able to do is I'm able to drop them in and pull them out. Drop them in and pull them out. And I use that with the crank to figure out the exact amount of cut that I need to make. The next step will be to take the shoes off, which I'm going to do. I've already taken the guts off, but then I'll soak these two halves in, I don't know, some kind of cleaning fluid, and I'll scrub them off real good. I'll get them nice and clean, like my other engine that's already done down here, before I start to sand on it. And the stroker motor from scratch continues.